The Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, has admitted that she sent official documents to her personal email address on 6 occasions. The security breaches led to her resignation, before she was then reappointed to the same role by Rishi Sunak less than a week later. While Suella Braverman gave the explanation in a letter to the chair of the Home Affairs Select Committee, in which she again apologises for her mistakes. Well, let's take you through the timeline of events that the Home Secretary has outlined in her letter. At 7:25 on October 19th, the Home Secretary says she used her personal email account on her personal phone email to draft a document to Sir John Hayes, a former Security Minister. Just before 9 o'clock, she arrived at the Home Office and went straight into back-to-back meetings with officials. Around 10 o'clock that day, the Home Secretary received a reply to her email from a parliamentary employee saying, "This has been sent to me in error." At 2 minutes past 10, she then replied to the parliamentary employee saying, "Please delete the message and ignore, thanks," before then going straight into a Home Office departmental board meeting. At 11:20, the Home Secretary went to the House of Commons to meet with constituents in Central Lobby. And finally, while she was there in Central Lobby at 11:50, and by coincidence, she saw the Chief Whip, Andrew Percy. The Chief Whip asked her to speak to Mr Percy, and he told her that her email had been received by a member of his parliamentary staff, and he was concerned about her having sent the email to Sir John and to his staff member. Well, let's bring in our political correspondent, Ali Fortescue. Ali, it's quite a lot of times to be resending official documentation to yourself by email, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I think there are two issues that are raised from this email. I mean, there's been plenty of calls, including from some Tory MPs, for the Home Secretary to give clarity, to be transparent about what exactly happened. And slowly over the course of the weekend, we were starting to piece together a timeline of events. And this letter does sort of confirm the timeline that we thought, as you were saying, that this happened at about 7:30, that she realised what happened at about 10 o'clock, and that she, by coincidence, as she says, saw the Chief Whip at about 11:50, and it was after that she raised this issue with the Cabinet Office. So we, for the first time, have a bit of clarity on what was happening during that time. And there have been calls for clarity, but I suspect that perhaps this will, certainly with the Labour Party, will raise more questions as well, because as you were reading there, the reasons why she didn't raise the issue, for example, that she was meeting 2 constituents, that she had a Home Office meeting, I think Labour will say that actually that is not enough for her to not raise what was a security breach, information that she'd shared by accident with someone on her personal phone, and that there is no reason why it should have taken a number of hours. The other issue is that she said in her resignation letter that she raised the issue, rapidly reported this on official channels, is what she said. But we can see here from her timeline of events that it was only after she, by coincidence, as she put it, saw the Chief Whip that she then raised it with the Cabinet Office. So would she have raised it anyway? Was this because she was in meetings? That's what she said. But I think that timeline will raise alarm bells for some. And I think the other thing, as you rightly mentioned, is the fact that this has happened on 6 occasions that she forwarded government documents to her personal email. So not just one time that she forwarded documents, but on 6 different occasions, which clearly is significant. And I think that is something that will be seized on. And I think there are those who think that this is something that reflects not just badly on the Home Secretary, but badly on the Prime Minister, on his judgment. Labour, of course, say that it was a grubby deal. Keir Starmer last week at Prime Minister's Questions seizing on the issue of Suella Braverman as to why she was appointed as Home Secretary. The Prime Minister says that he's reaching all different wings of the party, bringing together the talents of the Conservative Party. He knows that he needs to heal a deeply divided party, and Suella Braverman is someone that has had sway on the right of the party. He says that she made a mistake and she's apologised for that. But clearly, a week into his premiership, the controversy surrounding his Home Secretary isn't going anywhere, and clearly has come as a political cost to the Prime Minister. And I think this letter, as I say, is the first time we've seen clarity on some of the events around what happened on that day that she resigned, but does raise further questions as well that she will have to answer.